even today, when people talk about Dhurandhar and what a fantastic film it is, the first question I ask them is, "Have you seen D-Day?" You know, there is a reason why there is a man who's a Bob of them all comes into the room and you presume that he's got his back towards you, he's sleeping, and then it suddenly goes there. And he's awake and he's listening to these sounds and he's just crying. I mean, it's just beautiful shot taking. I don't know. Was it your cinematographer? Was it Rivanta? Was it you?
No, no,
It's just
it was a
beautiful.
discussion.
Yeah.
Basically, it's a book. In the book, that paragraph says that while the rest of India celebrated, the man who had brought us to the threshold of freedom was shedding a tear and did not participate in any of the celebrations. That was Gandhi. That's where the monster in the director comes out, right? So we had one day to shoot this Exodus in Sambar Desert in Rajasthan.
Wow.
It was 50 something degrees. And I'm telling you, I'm screaming, Rishi, I'm screaming. We are rolling. We had about 5 cameras rolling at the same time and drone. And my associate shouting, he said, "Sir, people are fainting. People are fainting." And he said, "Boss, they fainted during the Exodus. It's okay, let's go take the shot."
All right. I don't know if many of you caught my series 1 coverage of Freedom at midnight. I remember going to this incredible set that Nikkhil Advani and MA had built and doing a whole walkthrough tour with him. If you guys haven't caught that, it's time to get onto the Radio 1 International YouTube channel and go and catch that. Or if you go to major streaming sites, you'll hear the audio of it. It was just absolutely spectacular. I'd never been through a walkthrough like that. He played a very gracious host, and my favorite was, of course, the radio station that he had created. Now we're back with Freedom at Midnight 2, that's currently streaming on Sony Live, and I'm pleased, very, very pleased to welcome my friend and brother Nikkhil Advani into studio. From me, Rishike, everybody who's watching, listening, it's an important series. I urge you to go and watch it. Hello, Nikkhil.
Hello, Rishi.
I'm really happy that you still believe in radio, you still believe in audio. You always come down to the studio. And the odd occasion when channels or platforms have made the mountain come to Muhammad, you've said, "Hey, I could have come to the studio. Why are you here?" So thank you. Thank you for always respecting this and doing the radio trail and giving us that love.
I thought you were going to make a comment about my dialogue in the show, which is the mountain has come to Mohandas.
The mountain has come to Mohandas. Absolutely. That's a fantastic, fantastic comment. It actually is a very strategic point when Bapu is playing with his favorite pet, which is his goat.
Yeah.
And he's tending to the goat, and Lord Mountbatten comes to him. It's lovely. I mean, it is Nikkhil Advani's filmmaking at its absolute best. So listen, I want to know whether you shot both seasons together and you released them 1 and 2 at a time, or did you stagger and shoot? How did you go about
No,
this?
it is, I mean, we followed the same structure in terms of production as we did with Rocket Boys, right?
Yeah.
Rocket Boys also, when we got into Rocket Boys, we had realized that we have to shoot both the seasons together, and if we don't shoot both the seasons together, it doesn't make production sense. No? Rishi, you're going to go back to the same location, you're going to go back to the same sets, you're going to put up everything twice. So, obviously you need to have an incredible courage, which Danish Khan and Shogato have. You need to have incredible trust, which they gave us, that season 1 is going to turn out as good or as better than what it is on paper. And so you have to spend that much amount of time in the prep and in the workshops and in the writing. You have to spend that much time, and once you do that, and then you shoot together. So we shot both the seasons together, back to back. We finished shooting, then we released the first season. Now season 2.
What I love about your narrative is, of course, there are the titular characters. There's Pandit Ji, and there's Sardar, and there's Gandhi Ji, and all the major characters, Jinnah. But there's also the tale of the common man. There's also the tale of the Fauji. How the forces were separated.
Yeah.
I mean, there's another very important line saying, Fauji ka koi deen nahi hota.
Correct.
You know? And how these soldiers were made to separate from their families. A common man, a very interesting one about how he has made the long trudge, survived, mass genocide, who's trying to to make his family go with him. The story of the mass exodus and the common man also being affected by this huge thing called partition. Talk to me about that. We will come to the Gandhis and Nehrus later.
Yeah, so I think that season one was very internal, difficult decisions being taken by very powerful men inside rooms which were the studies and conference rooms, gadda rooms, bedrooms, uh, where, by the Congress and the Muslim League and Jinnah and Liaquat or Nehru, Patel's, Gandhi, or for that matter, Mountbatten and whoever it was. So that season one is very internal, right? It's at the end of the day, it's about the setup of it's going to happen, it's going to happen, it's going to happen. Something has to happen, and we've been fighting this for 30 years. Ever since Gandhi came in 1915, it's we got Gandhi came in 1915. We got independence in 32 years later. People,
Yeah.
but the struggle was going on since the time of Robert Clive and whatever. So season two, we were very clear that since season one is about the setup, the season two needs to be very external. This is what it is because season two is the how it affects us, right? 88 years later, and now we are getting into Independence Day, which is coming, right? Everything is about
Republic Day. Yeah.
Republic Day. Now we are getting into Republic Day, and everything is about how it still affects us. Those decisions, those events still affect us. So it starts with basically the army, because the army was at that time had just fought as the British Indian Army in World War II, right? Hindus, Muslims, Sikhs had fought shoulder to shoulder with British uniform in World War II and had come. And actually, that's a very big factor as to why the British left, because they realized they were broke, because they had taken so much money for fighting world as an allied leader, and two, they were the Indian army guys were not afraid of the white man anymore. They had seen him bleed, and they had seen that their blood is the same color as our blood, right? So they were not afraid of them anymore. There was not that fear of being colonized anymore. So yeah, so basically how they are separated. Madan Lal Pawa, who's a very important character played by Anurag Thakur, even from Black Warren, who I love. Anurag is so brilliant. He was in Veda also, and so we asked him to play Madan Lal Pawa. And Madan Lal Pawa is a character that most people have forgotten from the history books. A lot of people don't know that there was an assassination attempt on Mahatma Gandhi on 20th of January. Man was Madan Lal Pawa, ex refugee who had crossed the border, seen his family being destroyed, all, gone through various stages of surviving genocide, like you put it, and completely, I mean, whether you want to say brainwashed or completely, uh, uh, I mean, he was
Distraught. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
distraught. I mean, he was traumatized, and he chose to take a path that most people have forgotten the path that he took. Yeah.
And what was even more fascinating for me, and I just want more and more younger people to watch this, because I feel over the sands of time, as we're moving further and further away from 1947, reading as a habit, traditional books seems to be going down. But by means of podcasts, by means of shows, by means of series like this, people are finding out about the independence movement. I had no clue that there was an attempt on Jinnah's life, Ghaide Azam's life, which actually ends up being a little comical at the end of it.
Yeah.
But these are nuggets of history, which obviously there's some in the book, but there's also stuff that you researched, or have you
Yeah,
just
yeah.
stuck to the book?
No, no.
What is it?
No,
What is it like?
Freedom at Midnight by Dominic Lapierre and Larry Collins is an incredible source material. It's an incredible source material. There's an entire chapter in the book which deals with the assassination attempt on Jinnah. It was just a group of disgruntled refugees and ex-army who basically said that he's responsible for everything. Why don't we just take him out? And there's an entire chapter on it. But every time we came upon something that we wanted to use, which we felt could, because this book was written in 1975, it was
Yeah.
published in 1975 for the first time. We felt that has even Lapierre and Collins have they got all the information? Is there a different perspective to it? We live in extremely polarized times right now. People are basically saying that no, this could have, you don't know this, they didn't have all the facts. So we then went out and then we have a massive research team for this show. The main credits of the writing is Abhinandan Gupta and Revanta Sarabhai and Gundeep and Advitya Kang Das and Divya Nidhi Sharma. But behind them, there's this back end that is operating. It just came down, walking into your studio, right? All these guys who make it possible for you to go on air every single day. It just allows us. So every time we had something that we felt, listen, this is going to be a point of contention, or this is going to be something that could be debated. For us to go ahead with that, we would debate it amongst ourselves. We would say, okay, this could come in, and then we would say, okay, we're still going to go with this, So it's really it's a mammoth task to get us onto that page, for us to get onto that page, because it's so emotional material, it's so sensitive, the material in any case,
But I say this as a fan, I say this as a friend, but even today when people talk about Dhurandhar and what a fantastic film it is, the first question I ask them is, have you seen D-Day? There is a reason why, there is a man who's a Bob of them all, who's been there, done that. Nice film, Dhurandhar. There's no doubt about that. Wonderful filmmaking, stylized. But the kind of research that went into that film and the nuances and the way you executed it, it's still the same. I mean, I see Freedom at Midnight, and that's what I hope to emulate. I mean, this is my 31st year in radio. And if there are people that I look up to, it's people like yourself who have done like Rahul Dravid, batted day after day after day after day out of sheer love.
Yeah, I was in a. We have this. MA is completing 15 years.
Oh, congratulations!
Yeah, this year. So
Lovely.
you'll see a lot of celebration. Rishi will be invited. A lot of them. You'll have to support us through these 15 years.
All the time.
Yeah, and we have this Monday development meeting, which Monisha does very, very astutely. And she said that somebody asked her that, so what is MA going to be going forward, and what does MA stand for now? She said something, and I think she was a little tired and she was exhausted. She said, we are fact checkers.
Well said.
We are fact checkers. We get turned on by, we come in the morning also when we are fighting amongst each other also, and saying that, why did you post this reel? Do you know that this is this? So we are also constantly in the office we are constantly saying, we have sides within the office also. Why do you do this? Why do you do that? Hey, I like Dhurandhar. Hey, I did not like it. Whatever. All that goes on inside the office also. So, yeah. So, I mean, I think, whether it's Mumbai Diaries, whether it's Rocket Boys, whether it is Freedom at Midnight, now Revolutionaries, we're doing another show, we're doing another film called on the first election commissioner of India. It's all about, are we getting it right? Are we getting the facts right? I mean, of course, depending on the tone that one person is taking, like for instance, when I say that Freedom at Midnight is about strategy and is about authenticity. We have Revolutionaries is about audacity. It's audacious. 17, 18, 20-year-old boys turning around and saying, we're going to throw the British out.
Yeah, yeah.
So there are very different tones you take, but we do get turned on by fact checking. Yeah.
Lovely. And it's crazy, but this whole Bangladesh situation is playing out, and I'm looking at Surawardi, and I'm looking at the partition of Punjab and Bengal as represented in the book and what you've done with it at Freedom of Midnight. And I'm looking at Radcliffe as a figure. Very interesting casting. I don't know, was it Chabra? Was it, who's the guy who's... Kavish is your regular guy. Yeah, Kavish Sinha. Fantastic job. Not only with Pugilia is his name? Cordelia Bugeja. Cordelia Bugeja. And the guy is?
Luke
McBinney. And of course that one. Because here's a guy who's actually a lawyer. And he's brought in to do mapping, and he has no concept of geography.
And obviously, even Nehru says that. If they needed a lawyer to draw the borders,
exactly. Him, Jinnah, all these guys are lawyers.
They were all lawyers. A bunch of rabble-rousing lawyers is what Clement Attlee used to call them.
Yeah, that's what they were. And here is this guy who himself is constantly saying, I'm at sea, don't do this. And Mountbatten again and again tells him, no, you see, you're the neutral man. We don't want an expert in this matters.
You won't be biased.
And things like that. I thought that was very well cast.
You know,
And was he the first actor that Kavish threw at you for
no, no,
this
no, no,
part?
no,
No,
no, no,
no.
no. You see,
You
none of
needed a
them are.
slightly nervous character who's just looking
Yeah,
at the side and getting
yeah.
intimidated.
You know, because actually in the book, the only thing, the thing that they keep harping on is he had dysentery, he had diarrhea, he had heat strokes, right? It was
Yeah,
the
because he keeps running to the loo and
Lou, yeah,
throwing up. And, yeah.
it's the hottest summer in 1947, and he couldn't understand. Delhi belly was the first thing that had got to him. He was dealing with that. He was so nervous of the fact that he had he had security behind him all the time,
Yeah.
and here's this guy who's come from some refined British, kind of law. This thing,
Having his
I know.
afternoon tea.
And he had said the line that he had used, which we used in the show, which is "I've never been east of Paris," and that's what he had
Yeah,
never
correct,
been
yeah.
past Paris in his life. So he was stunned that he was called for that. Yeah, but I'm glad you're talking about the casting. There's a scene in that same episode where when Mountbatten brings the date forward, and now
Yeah.
it's from 13 months, it's five
Correct.
weeks.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
he just realized this is going to blow up. There's going to be
Yeah,
civil war.
yeah.
It's going to blow up. Obviously, he did not even though he had most of the information, he did not understand the extent of what was going to happen, and he was getting out from there. And then there's a beautiful scene where they stop in the corridor and they ask the Darban
Yeah.
that
It's a beautiful
yeah,
scene.
and
Oh.
that I
And it's true. I mean, as fathers, you and me can identify with that.
yeah.
Saying, bro, I mean, I'll go where my
Where
daughter
my daughter
is.
goes, yeah. तो बचे हुए दिन में अपनी बेटी के साथ गुजारना चाहता हूँ.
Yeah, yeah.
बेटी हम लोग आजमगढ़ से बेटी कसूर जा रही है क्योंकि इसकी मायका है वहाँ पे, तो ये बेकसूर कहाँ जा सकता है. Beautiful dialogues also. And Nag Ashwin, who's a very close collaborator friend, he was the one who actually saw the first season also and called me up and said, I love it and whatever. He sent me a message. I sent him the episodes to watch before they've come,
Yeah.
before they came, and he put a screenshot. He said, "Boss, this is casting. That guy, that Darban, So we really worked very hard on all the details that I think, because I think the cast grew. Everybody knew, or everybody feels that this is a very important piece of storytelling. So I mean, we should just try and get it as right as possible.
And I love that the entire screen fills up with the number of writers. In fact, there's so much that you have to do 3 here, 3 top
Yeah,
and
yeah.
3 bottom, and things like this. Is Revanta part of the Sarabhai family?
Yeah.
I mean,
He's Vikram Sarabhai's grandson, and now he's
wow.
the content head of the MA Entertainment.
So he's Malika's son.
He's Malika Sarabhai's son.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing. And he's the associate on this particular thing.
He's part of the writing room, part of the writing team. He was associate director while shoot. Season 2, and the finesse and the polish and so much of season, because I went to shoot Revolutionaries, so much of the post production of season 2 is all Revanta and all Revanta's team. Yeah.
And how does it work? He'll send you stuff on the phone, you'll check it out.
No,
and
yeah,
you'll just think,
I think that I trust his aesthetic.
fantastic.
He's possibly.
So you're not intrusive. You're saying, boss,
No,
you
I
can
think
do
that
it.
he's possibly has better. I think he will possibly. I will still be. You see, at a time right now, I'm 32 years in the business. I feel I get very impatient with things. Get on with it. Get on. लोग ये नहीं देखने वाले. तुम लोग, why are you guys so bothered about this particular this thing? People are not going to watch it. People are looking at his face. They're not looking at that. People like Revanta are still not that spoiled. Right? They're not that cynical. They've not become that skeptical. They've not been corrupted.
Yeah, they're finding beauty in every second.
So they
yeah.
fight more. They fight more for the for perfection than I will fight for.
Wow, that's a very important point.
Yeah.
Because we've reached a stage where we don't sweat the small stuff.
Yeah.
We say, "Okay, look at the bigger picture."
आगे लोग क्या, आगे
But the
बढ़ो.
beauty actually is in the details. Like
Yeah,
they say, the God is in the details. And if you have that innocence to pick up on that, it's just fantastic, man.
In the postscript of the end of the season, there's a postscript about Mahatma Gandhi and Nehru and Sardar Patel and Jinnah and all that. And we've written something or whatever, and then we got something. Hey, maybe you got to change a couple of lines. He was so upset. I said, boss, it's the same thing. They're just asking you to put this thing here and put this thing over. It says the same thing with a few tweaks. It's not a big deal. No. You have to call up Danish sir, and you got to call up Shaukat, and you got to fight for this. I said, boss, what I can teach you is choose your battles wisely. It's not a battle that you need to fight.
You know, what also really interested me is the fact that Jinnah was a proper Mumbaikar. He was like you and me. I mean, he loved the air of this city. He never lived in any other city in his life. And in a
London.
lot of ways, it hits him.
He lived in London and he lived in
Yeah,
Bombay.
it hits him that, boss, because of what I have done, I have to leave my own house.
And that's an
That to
incredible
me was an
scene. That's
incredible
one of my
scene.
favorite scenes.
Because she, the sister, is very, like women are, emotional intelligence. Let's pack, tuck, 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 tuck. And suddenly it hits him saying, bro, I have to leave Bombay.
Yeah.
You know,
So
and
he fired a bullet and he couldn't take it back.
you couldn't take it back, yeah.
He couldn't take it back. I mean, there's this line in which Fatima says in season 1 where she says that a Punjabi is a Punjabi before he's Indian and Bengali is a Bengali before he's Indian, because the country is so diverse and so big and so large and it has so many different things. How can a person living in Kochi seem to have the same problems as a person living in, say, Srinagar? Very different, very
Yeah.
different problems are there. So Jinnah was Malabaril, right?
Correct, yeah.
He was a Khoja Muslim man. So he was not even the majority Muslims. This thing.
Correct.
He was a minority of minorities,
Minority.
of a minority of a minority. But he loved his whiskey. He loved his port wine. He loved his sausage and eggs. He hardly spoke. He hardly knew had read the Quran before he had to understand that this whole ambassador of a Hindu Muslim unity, which he used to wear as a badge, is rubbish. I have opposed religion in politics, but that's what's going to make me the Qaeda-e-Azam, and he took it on himself. But he fired a gun. That scene is so lovely where she says that the Qaeda-e-Azam cannot be in Karachi.
Yeah,
He cannot be in
correct.
Bombay,
He
na?
can't be in Bombay,
He
yeah.
has to be in Karachi. Huh. And over there also what we did is that his ego comes, who wants to be over here?
Correct. But
यहाँ
actually
पे कौन
leaving
रहना
his
चाहता है?
friends, leaving his discussions, his walls, it just must have
And we had a
been.
lovely line. I think I don't know whether it's still there, but we had a lovely line. He says, "Who wants to be over here?" And in any case, knowing that Nehru, he'll have bulldozers waiting when I leave.
Yeah, fantastic. You know, I've seen like the 3 episodes, and we see Indira as very small.
Yeah.
Do you progress on that story? Does the book progress on that
No.
story, or it just stays the way
No,
it is?
she was very young. She was extremely young at that time, and no, so it's exactly, she's there for 3 or 4 scenes, and basically there to ground Jawaharlal Nehru as even a father and a grandfather for that.
I want to talk about shot taking for a little bit. Finally we've started giving that respect to the writers and this and that. There is an episode ending which is just the most beautiful episode ending, very poignant and very sad.
Acha.
No, the camera is here and Gandhi is lying to his side, and he's crying, and in the backdrop is
Jadiya.
the Fuljadis, and independence is happening, and the whole country is celebrating. And you see this man who's broken because the nation has been broken, and he's lying to his side. And first you show his back. The camera comes from outside the room. It shows his back.
It's a top shot of the entire
Yeah.
celebration and comes into the room.
Comes into the room, and you presume that he's got his back towards you, he's sleeping, and then it suddenly goes there, and he's awake, and he's listening to these sounds, and he's just crying. I mean, it's just beautiful shot taking. I don't know, was you a cinematographer? Was it Rivanta? Was it you?
No,
It's
it
just
was a
beautiful,
discussion.
yeah.
It was basically, it's a book. In the book, that paragraph says that while the rest of India celebrated, the man who had brought us to the threshold of freedom was shedding a tear and did not participate in any of the celebrations. That was Gandhi. So we said, how do you interpret that sentence in the book as a shot? So we have that entire sequence where the whole of outside Haidari Manzil, where they are celebrating, they're celebrating, they're celebrating, they're celebrating. We pass them and we come into because he used to stay on the terrace of Haidari Manzil, and we just get and go. So I mean, we're lucky that we can do it with the kind of equipment we have today, the Jimmy Jibs and the gimbals and the drones and whatever. But it's when we read it in the book, we said, okay, that's how it's going to be written into the episode. When we were writing the episode, we designed the set. The set is designed. So while we were designing the set, we knew that we have to take a shot like this. So the terrace is designed in such a way that you will see the entire gully, and then you will come up to the Barsati, where he's sleeping. Everything is designed, was designed, and we pre-vised it. We said, okay, this is what these many people we will need: dancers, junior artists, people on the balconies, people over there. Okay, we can't get beyond that, so that will all go into VFX. Also, yeah, everything was it's all planned.
Cinematographer?
Malay, best.
Big ups, Malay. Fantastic. Really loved your work. The other thing I want to talk about is the editing of the whole Exodus scene. I mean, how do you show mass migration of. The funny part is he says 2. He says 2 lakhs. He says 2 million. What are you talking about?
Yeah, it's a lovely, again in the book. Again in the book, that man leans over and says that people are crossing over, and Exodus has started, and he says 3 to 4, and he says 1,000, and he says million.
And I love again that you've obviously shot a whole sequence because you see the desert, whole line of people with their bullock carts and this and that, and suddenly it goes into 4 shots of screen broken up into 4 fragments. There's black and white stuff. There's close-ups of particular people, the creases on their face, the pain. That was just masterful editing.
Yeah, it is. And Shweta
because
Venkat, I fought with every single person in my production team to say I want Shweta to edit it. I mean, ever since I saw her work in Gangs of Wasipur, Superman of Maligaon, I said, yeah, I want to work with this person. I knew her socially. We are in the same group, and I was waiting for the correct material to work with her. Right on top, while we were writing, while we were discussing, we were doing the workshops, and all. I kept telling her I want to do split screens. I want to do split screens. It's about what is happening in the Congress, is also in the Muslim League. They both are reacting very differently to the same problem. Do they have the same solution? I want to use that kind of technique, and so she figured that this thing. But yeah, I mean, I think that a big, using the Amrita Pritam poem.
the song is so beautiful. Varish Shah.
Yeah, Varish Shah. Yeah.
Oh God.
Yeah.
Who's the singer? I should ask Ashu. Yeah.
Sonam Kalra.
Sonam Kalra. Yeah.
Yeah. So Sonam Kalra and Altamash sang it, and we decided to use that. And the thing is that there's so much actually footage also. The migration and the exodus has been covered by people like Henry Cartier-Bresson, Margaret Bourke-White, Life magazine, Time magazine, BBC had its cameras rolling all the time. So we got a lot of footage also. How do we match our? And I'm telling you, Rishi, we shot. I mean, it's quite. That's where the monster in the director comes out, right? So we had one day to shoot this exodus in Sambar Desert in Rajasthan.
Wow.
It was 50 something degrees. 50 something degrees. Every single unit person, whether they were costume, whether they were spot boys, they were setting, they were direction team, camera team, everybody other than just the people who were on the camera, me or somebody, few people who were shooting, everybody else was giving water. We had 300 people, and we were trying to show it as 3 million people, right? So there's layer after, how you do VFX, right? I mean, AI is now coming, VFX. And I'm telling you, I'm screaming, I'm we're rolling, we have about 5 cameras rolling at the same time, and drone, and my associate shouting, sir, people are fainting. And he said, boss, they fainted during the exodus, it's okay, let's go take the shot.
Oh God. Yeah,
so it was just mad. But I mean, we managed it. We had decided between 11 and 2 we can't shoot, because the production had said between 11 and 2 it's like mad, right? It's 50 plus degrees. Everybody sitting under bullock carts with some. It was horrendous. But yeah, you can see it. There's a great shot of that boy pulling that cycle.
Yeah.
There's a great shot of the guy giving water to, an old man over there. And I mean, Malay and his team just covered everything they could. They didn't go into for lunch or whatever. They just kept covering. They kept shooting. And we just knew that the more we gave Shweta to work with, the more she'll be able to create magic.
Magic.
We just kept shooting.
Shweta Venkat, big ups, fantastic job. Of course, Ashutosh Pathak, thank you for all the lovely music. Really, both the background as well as the songs. The Varis Shah thing just gives me goosebumps even thinking about it. Is there any point where you feel, oh my God, I should have had more time to shoot this?
Maybe a couple of scenes here and there. Sure, why not? I
But you
mean,
don't look like the kind of guy who regrets and says,
not at all.
I did the best what I had under the
Not at
circumstances,
all.
right?
In fact, what happens is that I already decide that these are going to be in a 120-day shoot. I decide these are the 20 days which are the really tough days, and funnily those 20 days just fly. It's the other whatever 100 days where you suddenly will feel I was क्या ये scenes between Nehru and Sardar will all be okay, and then something goes wrong, some prosthetic goes wrong or something goes wrong. They're not getting it. Nehru and Sardar, when they go at each other, when you in episode 6 and 7, they actually split up. Most people did not know that Sardar had actually resigned, that he had given his resignation to Gandhi when it was lying on Gandhi's desk when he went out and he got shot. Most people don't know that he had already resigned.
Wow.
So we put all these kind of things, and it was it's extremely it's at a razor's edge. Both of them are just going, because Nehru wants to go in one direction and Sardar wants to go in one direction. But then is how that one event brings them back together. So it
But
was,
I love how after the Tryst with Destiny speech, they just find each other.
and
They're looking, and they just have that hug, which is such a
yeah,
beautiful.
and
There are no words.
Danish sir and Shaugat they came. I called them for the shoot because it was one of our big. When we knew when we were writing it and we were prepping on we were all, how are we going to shoot the Tryst with Destiny speech? And then we said, okay, you know what? We'll build the set. We'll build the set. We'll figure out. We'll compromise on some other sets. We have to build the set. We can't do
Build the
anywhere
constituent
else.
assembly. Yeah.
So we built that set, and I remember that they came down for the shoot, and I finished taking that shot, and Danish sir just came and hugged me, and he said that, what a shot,
That's beautiful.
how you managed to, this thing. It's the actors also. Rajendra, Siddhant, Chirag, Arif, Ira, all of them had suddenly understood what they are. What they, I mean, that they will be known for some of the roles that they play.
Cinema is immortal. That's the way it is. That's the story, Morning Glory. Freedom at Midnight, 2 streams on Sony Live. It is Nikkhil Advani and his team giving us what we really, really deserve, and deserve to know, most importantly, the story of our nation, that partition. Please go give it a lot of love. Nikkhil, thank you again for rolling by. This is special as always.
Thank
Cheers,
you,
my friend.
Rishi. As always, it's always a pleasure. It's always a pleasure. You are such a huge supporter of everything we do, and I can't thank you enough.
Thank you, Nikkhil.
94.3 Radio 1.